Hey, hi Cindy. How are you?
Hello, Lena.
Let's give people another minute to connect. Make sure that they can hear us and see us, and that their connections are stable. Give those tardy folks another minute or two, and then we will get this party started.
Awesome.
Hope everyone is well today. Yeah, it looks like some folks are still joining us. Let's give them another 15 to 30 seconds. Everybody let us know where you're from. I don't know if we have any international. Oh, we do. We already have international folks. Welcome. Thank you for making time outside of our local time zone to join us. I know that that can be a little bit inconvenient, so I really do appreciate it. Friends from Europe right now commenting. Vegas, Napa, Chicago, the frozen tundra, New Zealand. Wow. Wisconsin. I have to say, hello, Wisconsin. Woo! I'm a Wisconsin Beloit College grad. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow, it looks like we have lots of folks coming from all over the country and from abroad. Outstanding. Let's just give it a few more seconds. I see the attendee number still going up a little bit. Let's get things stable. What is currently cold in SoCal? What is cold for SoCal? Yeah, 50. Well, I am in Baltimore, Maryland, and Cindy is in beautiful Athens, Georgia, at the home office of Stellar Labs.
And I agree that 50 is cold.
What do you think, Cindy? You ready to get started?
All right, let's get going.
Excellent. Welcome, everyone, from wherever you hail from and are today. If you're traveling, thank you for making time. Welcome to Build and Protect Your Amazon Reputation with Feedback Genius.
Let's just start off with a quick introduction. I'm Cindy Snow, product manager here at Stellar Labs, and right now I oversee the product Feedback Genius. I'm really excited to be here and connecting with you guys.
And I'm Lena Lieberman from Content and Editorial, and I write a lot about Feedback Genius and Ignite and Amazon in general, advertising, reputation management, and things like that. And I have the pleasure and privilege of working closely with the product folk such as Cindy Snow. You ready to get started, Cindy?
Absolutely. So let's just go over real quick what to expect for our presentation today for the webinar. Three main topics. We're going to talk about what is reputation and why does it matter? Why is it still relevant conversation to have today? The challenges and also opportunities of building a reputation on Amazon. We all know it's really difficult, but what are some of the opportunities that are being left on the table? And then finally, solutions, how to change your mindset and harness the power of Feedback Genius and automation so that you can build great relationships with buyers and then your reputation as well.
Absolutely. This is totally doable. I know a lot of sellers feel very defeated right now. There's a lot of confusion about terms of service. There's a lot of confusion about frequency of message sending. So we're going to clarify some of that, and we're going to get people back on track and feeling good, because the truth is you can message and you can leverage you can use one message, which is what we recommend and what Amazon recommends, and you can actually build relationships with that. One message is enough. So let's talk about reputation.
All right, Lena, from your perspective, what is reputation and why does it matter?
Reputation is pretty similar to brand for me. Just as an individual has a reputation, oh, that person is always late, or that person really comes through, or that person is incredibly funny. Brands have reputations as well. I love their products. Their products always work, or oh, you know, every third one of their products I order craps out on me, things like that. And why this is really important, and you see these two quotes from Senor Bezos, is in the age of social sharing and social proof, This is accelerated. It's faster than ever. It used to be that if you had an experience in a store, you bought something, you got it home, you used it, and then you might tell your friends about the experience. You would tell 3 of them, 6 of them, whatever. Now you get something on Amazon and you post a review, or you post it to Facebook, or you actually call out the company on Twitter or something like that. So this is super accelerated and super important, which is why you have to be really vigilant about reputation as a seller and do everything you can to build the best reputation that you have and protect it.
That's right. And we all know, we're familiar with how reputation often manifests itself on Amazon, and that's through feedback and reviews. Real quick, as a quick review, seller feedback, that's going to be the customer's rating of the Amazon seller, rating you on shipping, if the item is as described in your customer service. And then, of course, on the other side, there's the product review, the customer's rating of the product, the quality of it, if expectations were met. So that's we often talk about reputation on the buyer side and what they see of your reputation on Amazon through those stars. But also think about, you have a reputation as an Amazon seller with Amazon itself. So you also have to worry about your reputation with Amazon. And product reviews and seller feedback feed into that, as well as customer complaints, returns, refunds. All of those things work together so that Amazon can decide who deserves the buy box, organic search rankings, and can determine your account health. And all of those things work together, your reputation with buyers and your reputation with Amazon, and ultimately impact your sales.
Absolutely. It's really 2 sides. It's kind of in front of the mirror and behind the mirror, what the buyer sees and what Amazon sees in the background. Things like out of stock. Amazon hates out of stock. They will absolutely lower your ranking because of that, because it's important to them that they have prime fulfillment. So you really need to maintain your reputation, not just with buyers, but with Amazon and on Amazon.
So just to get everyone on the same page really quick, kind of to review, in the past couple of years, reputation has changed in that when Amazon had a bigger percentage of resellers selling identical products, it mattered more. So here you see a listing, not a listing, but a product, and behind the scenes, all of the different sellers that are selling that product. The same product, same condition, same fulfillment here, but the differentiator, except for just a couple of cents in the price, is going to be that seller reputation. What percentage do you have of positive seller feedback?
Yeah, and for me, 38 cents, well worth going with the seller who has a 10% higher rating. I feel much more confident about that. So you really can put a price on reputation.
That's right. And of course, now more than ever, with the growth of brands selling on Amazon, as well as private labelers on Amazon, product reviews matter more than ever. And we are all familiar with that, and the need and desire to get more positive product reviews.
So knowing this and understanding how reputation works, why do people still struggle with it so darn much? And I will tell you that there are 3 main reasons: unrealistic expectations, sellers focus on the wrong things, and they don't understand the product as a promise, which is really an experience that goes further than just the transaction. We all understand that there are so many things on Amazon that you as a seller or brand cannot control. We understand that. So we want to talk about the things that you can control. All right, let's get into those.
So I'm going to start off with unrealistic expectations, because as the product manager of Feedback Genius, I see this fairly often with customers, with sellers that have unrealistic expectations, and these unrealistic expectations are holding them back from seeing the true results that they want. So this is a common sentiment, or a sentiment that I saw recently. I sent 80 emails to buyers asking for a review, and I only got 2, right? So they're disappointed in this number. And then here's another comment: Amazon won't let me send the messages I want anymore, referring to the opt-out that Amazon allows buyers from opting out of Amazon emails, and it's just not even worth it.
Well, first of all, that's 2 emails that you got, 2 reviews that you got had you not emailed at all. That's 2 more. So yes, it is absolutely worth doing. Any review right now, any legitimate review, any helpful review, any in-depth review is gold, absolutely. So don't give up, don't give up. I know it feels like you can't get there, but you can.
That's right. And a 2.5% review rate is actually really good. I think organically you might get 1% or less. So you need to keep that in mind and have realistic expectations. And then for the other thought that it's just not worth it anymore, nobody's opening, nobody's leaving reviews. Feedback Genius sends around 1 million messages per day, and we are seeing people with 10% to 25% open rates on specific messages. So we are seeing people opening these messages. And this open rate actually includes people who are opting out. It includes all those bounce backs. So, so people are opening messages, and you can also see we track reviews. People are leaving reviews, and they are leaving feedback. So please don't give up with having unrealistic expectations. Sometimes sellers give up too quickly, only after using the product a month or 2. And then they even tell us, I'm just going to go ahead and, do it the black hat way because I need the reviews. And that's just not worth it. It's not worth the risk of getting your account suspended or getting product listings taken down.
Absolutely. And also a note about opt-outs and the blacklist. I know that was a big blow a couple of years ago when Amazon rolled that out, but that's been actually a really wonderful thing because we believe in not sending emails that you wouldn't want to receive. If you yourself would opt out, don't send it. So those are people who really weren't going to leave your reviews and feedback to begin with. The other thing is that's not hurting you. Your competition has no edge. They have exactly the same opt-out list. They have the same blacklist, so it's not like they're getting any audience that you're not getting. So you have a real shot here.
That's a really good point. All right.
Wrong focus. You can see in this diagram here that it's kind of a mini flywheel. We talk about the Amazon flywheel, and I'm not going to get into that, though we do have an ebook if you wish to download it. And obviously, the central Amazon experience is the great customer experience. We talk about them as a customer-centric company, putting the customer first, sometimes to seller detriment. So there are 4 gears that turn that. Discovery, which is being found. Advertising can really help with that. We do offer solutions for that. Traffic, which is getting people to your listing. Conversion, which is the actual transaction, people saying, I want to buy this and doing it. And then reviews after the fact. So there's a couple places where sellers go wrong here. And the first is that they focus on just conversion, traffic and conversion, sales, 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 sales. And they don't see this as a relationship. They just see it as, I'm going to get a sale. Okay, well, that's good. You need to do that. But there are other things that you need to do to nurture that. And that is kind of, I don't want to call this the selfish seller, but let's call this the selfish seller. Selfish seller focuses on him or herself before the buyer, before the customer. Selfish seller does not understand how many choices the customer has. Size, color, brand, all of those things. A million other sellers, private label. And so this selfish seller also forgets that they need to satisfy Amazon because Amazon is giving you the platform to do all of these things. And finally, the big failure here is not realizing that these 4 gears all work together to create the great customer experience that is so proven by Amazon to work. And if you focus on 1 of these, 2 of these, 3 of these, and you neglect another, it breaks down. The gears don't turn, the machine stops. So these are what you need to keep your focus on. Customers over sales, buyers in Amazon before your own needs, and turning all of those gears at the same time in equilibrium.
Okay, the last customer seller challenge here.
Yeah, for me, I'm a big believer that we're talking about a product is not just an object, but it's an experience from the listing and the pictures and the bullet points through delivery. And it doesn't just stop there with fulfillment. I want people who use my product to be delighted with it and satisfied with it 3 months, 6 months down the road, a year down the road. That is what makes customers and not sales. And you can, again, put a price on that. A long-term customer who is happy is going to tell friends. It's going to be a repeat buyer. So I just want to share with you here a couple experiences where sellers don't keep a promise and they do keep a promise. And hopefully this will illustrate to you the product as more than just an object, but an experience. So iPhone cables. We all know that they crap out really quickly, that some are not very good, and that you get what you pay for. My experience with these, 2 of them crapped out within 2 months. So that was a 50% fail rate. You can see that in the reviews, that my experience was that of plenty of other people. And I will tell you that now I only buy Anchor cables. And you will say to me, yes, Anchor, I have heard of them. And that is because Anchor has made their reputation as the cables provider for smartphones, tablets, things like that. If it plugs in, Anchor does your cables. And they have earned that reputation through absolute delivery. Their pages look great, their listings are optimized, but more than anything, they keep their promise to their buyer, just to say their products work and they keep on working. And you're willing to pay a little bit extra because you know that they're gonna work. Right below that is an example, another iPhone accessory. This is a niche where we're not short on items. I had a great experience with this. And I wanted to tell people because it fit perfectly. And what's the biggest problem with iPhone accessories? It covers the ports. You know, you can't access the ports or it muffles the microphone. This was beautiful. I even went to Costa Rica with it. And I just wanted to tell people, if you're looking for something that'll last, this is it. I was not asked to write either of these, but my experiences were such that I felt like I wanted to give back to the Amazon community. And I also wanted the seller and manufacturer to understand, hey, you're doing a great job. This thing is awesome, and I hope you get a ton of sales. Or this is not cool, and you need to up your game because this product is crap. So that is about keeping your promise. And that will, when you keep your promise, you will be rewarded so much in the form of reviews and ratings. And as you know, with Amazon, that just boosts your sales, boosts your ranking, and all good things come from that.
Awesome. So we just talked about some of the common mistakes that we are seeing sellers make. But now we're going to share about the good news about building and maintaining a good reputation and what you can do.
Yeah, this is kind of the gospel of reputation, literally the good news. Here we have Socrates talking about it. So we're talking about over 2,000 years ago, people were talking about reputation. The good news is, as we talked about, don't be discouraged, even with the things that are out of your control. It is in your reach. It takes work, but it isn't difficult. And it's built on integrity and doing the right thing, which is not extra work. It's what we should all be doing to begin with. It's how we want to be treated. Anyone who says to you, I can get you 1 million reviews, or I can provide to you software that will, get 80% open rate, things like that, don't believe. There is no set it and forget it all-in-one solution, okay? But there are solutions that can help you automate things so you can get results and use your time wisely. And Feedback Genius is one of those things. So that's what we're going to focus on today, how Feedback Genius can help you do customer service and reputation.
That's right. There's no set it and forget it solution. There's no magic bullet, but Feedback Genius can help save you time and help you do customer service right and reputation right, help you connect with buyers so that you can improve your reputation and actually have some control over this process.
Let's do it. This for me is about a mindset shift. Before you can take action, before you can use a tool, before you can harness the power of software, before you can automate, you need to get your head in the game and change. I think a lot of sellers have been on Amazon for so many years that they're kind of in the old way. First of all, they think about it as eBay, like kind of a quid pro quo, like you're part of the transaction, you got a good deal, so you should leave me good feedback automatically. That is not how it works. Buyers now have so many choices and they owe you nothing but payment. Give them a reason to leave you a review. If you don't keep your promise, as I said, they'll leave you a review, all right. It just won't be the kind that builds your reputation. But if you give them a reason to leave you a positive review, which is to say you provide an amazing product or amazing service, or you have instructions or recipes or nice little extras or things that enhance the experience. Again, product is not an object, it's an experience. They will want to leave you reviews. We're talking about not meeting expectations, we're talking about exceeding expectations. Old mindset. One message per order is not enough. No, one well-crafted message absolutely does the trick. Anything more than that, chances are you're going to be annoying people. And the old mindset also is Feedback Genius is just for asking for reviews and feedback. And I can't even do that anymore, so why bother? And that's unfortunate because when we started, Feedback Genius was a great name because sellers were going for feedback. And Cindy, you can really jump in here. Feedback Genius does so much more in terms of building relationships. So let you get into that.
Absolutely. And I think this is where I see the difference between sellers who are having a lot of success with Feedback Genius and finding that they are using the tool to the best of its ability and all the ways that it can help you in your business is shifting your mindset and looking at Feedback Genius, not just about asking for feedback and reviews, but using it as a communication tool, as a customer service tool, as a way to provide that proactive customer service to make that initial touch point that will then lead to that positive experience that will then lead to feedback and reviews. And we're going to talk a little bit more specifically about how to do that.
Let's do it, Sin.
So sorry about that. All right.
It's okay. Sometimes you have to go backward to, you take a couple steps back to go forward.
Right. All right. So this was really exciting. I wanted to share with you about one of our most successful Feedback Genius customers, Death Wish Coffee, which many of you may be already familiar with. There was a very recent BuzzFeed article about them, highlighting them as one of the most popular online coffee sellers. And this is just one product and the number of reviews that they have. Of course, this is an extreme example. They have been in business for many years and so have built up a wonderful, solid reputation. And as well as almost a fanatical fan base because of their strong branding, their strong reputation, and their strong product. And we actually had the opportunity to ask their founder, Mike Brown, to talk a little bit about how they have used Feedback Genius to help with their success. And I'm not going to read this to you, but what stood out to me the most was this automated outreach, the ability for Feedback Genius to help bring attention, immediate attention to things that you need to fix. And most of all, consistency. And this reflects what Lena was just talking about, consistency with product, with fulfillment, with their outreach, with their customer service, and fixing any and all issues swiftly. So this just reflects what we were talking about here with how Feedback Genius can help you do these things.
One more thing about Mike and Death Wish Coffee is, boy, talk about an example of a guy who is turning all of the gears. So Mike uses, managed services for advertising, something that we offer. So he's getting tons of discovery and traffic. His conversions are great because he makes a great product and he has a great social media presence, and reviews are great because, well, Death Wish Coffee is awesome. So again, a great example of a dude who understands turning all of those gears to get that great customer experience. And as you can see, you get on BuzzFeed, you are reaping the rewards big time.
Absolutely. Another one of our extremely successful customers is Pajamagram, and they really rely on our not only messages that send out proactive customer service, but they also use our feedback and review notifications. And so here we have an example. We spoke with the person who manages their Amazon account, and they have a policy of responding to each and every review. And so I looked up their account, and I looked up picked a random product on Amazon, and I checked it out. And yes, so here is Marnielle, their customer service representative, and she's responding to this person who left a negative review. And I clicked into one of their products. Out of 103 reviews, there were 7 negatives. And here's Marnielle again. Here's just consistently responding and responding to any type of issue that they need to fix, and letting people know, not only the person who left the review, but anyone who's shopping and looking at these responses, looking at comments, and they are also seeing how the company is responding.
Also, you'll notice that this is Marnielle. Marnielle is responding each time. Marnielle is responding to negative reviews and positive reviews, which means that I, as a viewer, when I'm looking at those Pajamagram reviews, I am thinking, wow, this woman is really paying attention. She's super responsive, and I'm seeing her caring about her business. She becomes a brand ambassador, if you will, for Pajamagram and my point of contact. And I feel like, wow, if I ever have a problem, Marnielle's going to hook me up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people love getting a response. Our CMO Jeff Cohen says, if somebody were to compliment your shoes, you're not just going to stand there and stare at them in the face and not respond. So people enjoy that interaction, and knowing that there's a real person, there are real people behind the company, and every time that you can respond publicly in a respectful, polite, helpful way, that is adding to your reputation.
Absolutely. And I love that you hit on that, Cindy, which is that you're not just responding to the person who posted. You're not just responding to that buyer. This is public sport, folks, and it is on for all to see. So you want to be the hero. You always want to take the high road, even if you have a really difficult customer. Make it right and take that high road and do it publicly. It's not enough to be a hero. You have to be seen as the hero that you are.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this part of the presentation, we're going to start talking about best practices. And what you can do inside Feedback Genius, how we can use it to really optimize our results. Here's a dashboard of one of our customers, one of the sellers. You could see that this is just from the last 30 days. Again, speaking to that thought that, oh, nobody's leaving feedback or reviews. You see that we have a high open rate, 21%. Across all of four of their messages, they're getting reviews and they're getting feedback as well.
Love it.
All right, so 3 basic rules of messaging. We're going to start with sending the messages that you want to receive. Okay, so think of it, putting yourself in the buyer's shoes and thinking about how crowded your inbox is, the types of messages that come through, the types of subject lines that come through, and what would you perceive as something that you would want to open that you would find a positive touch point rather than something that would make you feel like you were being taken advantage of or spammy. So I'm going to go over very quickly some of the types of messages that we see having a really good response in Feedback Genius, where you're taking advantage of that positive and personal touch point. So here's an example of a message that you could send after shipment or after confirmation, where you're simply thanking the customer, introducing your brand yourself. You can put in your logo. You can use a variable to pull in a product image, letting them know that you're there to address any problems. This is great because it's so hard to differentiate yourself on Amazon, and most Amazon buyers don't even realize that you're there. They think they're just purchasing from Amazon. So this is a great way to personalize yourself, thank them personally, and then also it's an opportunity to offer some value in your message, and we'll go over some options for that in a moment. But without even asking them for anything, just letting them know that you're there and that if they have a problem, they can just reply. That way they won't take it straight to Amazon if there is a problem. This was an approach that I thought was interesting. Somebody was sending messages, not asking for anything, but asking an open-ended question or asking a question that would trigger or encourage the buyer to simply respond and interact with you. And it was offered in a way of genuine customer service. So in this example, the person had heard that some of their products were broken because they were made of glass. So they created a message letting people know, hey, we heard that this was a problem. It's sent from Amazon. We don't have a lot of control over it, but please let us know if you receive this in good shape, just so we can take care of you if it wasn't. And that is such a great way to open up that communication and offer proactive customer service. And then, of course, later on, after you communicate, you can always ask for feedback or review then. Just make sure you're not only asking people who had a positive experience, because that's against TOS.
Yeah, no if-then conditionals. No, if you had a great experience, leave us a review. If you have a problem, contact us. No if-then conditionals. But yes, to be clear, you can ask for a review. And it turns out we recently did a survey. 50% of sellers surveyed did not know that they could even ask for a review, that it was still okay to do that on Amazon. It is, absolutely. And you should be taking advantage of that, and you should be automating it.
Yes, thanks for bringing that up, Lena, because this third and fourth point that I'm going to, that I was going to talk about is making sure that you do simply know that it is okay to go ahead and ask. People are busy, they might not think of it. If you are sending a message that is showing your genuine thanks for their purchase and perhaps providing more value, and then go ahead and ask. Go ahead and ask if they would share their review of the product, or depending on what you're trying to increase more, perhaps you're more interested in your seller feedback. Go ahead and ask, make that part of the message. So these are 4 types of messages. And of course, those last 2 or last 3 would be after delivery. We find that 3 days after delivery or 14 days after delivery are great times to send, depending on what type of product you have. If it's something that that the buyer needs some time to try out first. So these are 4 types of messages that you can use.
And you don't have to worry about keeping track of that. Feedback Genius does that for you in an automated way. You set the triggers. We also have shipping integration, so you know when it's delivered for real, not just when Amazon says it's delivered. So you can make that contact really when the person has received the package and it really hits hard and lands home when you ask, oh, I saw you got it today, you know, is everything cool? It really just shows interest, and Feedback Genius automates all of that for you. So you set all the triggers. It's completely customizable.
Right. And going back to the final point on this, sending the messages that you want to receive, really one message is best. Let's not spam people. That is not how Feedback Genius is set up. We, compared to other tools, similar tools that allow you to create campaigns where you send 1, 2, 3, or 4 messages based on an order. We only allow 1, so you have to go out of your way to create more than 1 per message. And so this is an example of somebody who was almost forced to leave this terrible review and said, I wasn't going to write it, but I've now gotten 4 emails from the company asking for a review. So I don't think this is a Feedback Genius customer. And if it is, it's someone who is going out of their way to use the tool in the way that it was not intended. So
to abuse the tool.
To abuse the tool, that's right. And you will not get positive results if you do that.
Can you think about annoying a buyer so much that they actually go out of their way to leave you a review, not about your product or about, you know, fulfillment or price or anything, but about your emails? That's so, wow.
Well, I mean, they did have a negative experience with the product, but they wouldn't have left it. I mean, this person even said, I responded and said, I told the seller, you don't want me to leave this review. And then the automation continued sending the messages. So basically forcing them to leave the bad review.
To take it public again,
Okay, so you're going to have to, so we have a question coming in. How do you go about trying to obtain both seller feedback and a product review? So because Amazon only wants you to send one message, and because most people just don't want to be spammed, you are going to have to choose one. You're going to have to choose your goal, and that's kind of best practice in terms of getting anyone to take action. You only want to have one call to action. So you might ask for product reviews for specific products, and then for other ones, go ahead and ask for that seller feedback. And sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, what I was just going to say is if you're launching a product, you obviously want product reviews. If you are a 3P seller, a reseller, or doing retail arbitrage, what matters, the differentiator for you there is going to be not product reviews, because it's all the same product, but seller feedback. So think about your priorities, your identity on Amazon, and what you're trying to do, and where the product is in the product life cycle, especially if you own the brand.
Another point is, remember, when we're talking about automation and one message, we're talking about only automating one proactive message. That doesn't mean that you cannot go back and forth with your buyer as many times as you need to help solve their problem, to communicate with them. So one message is only about automating that one message. So what I would also recommend with seller feedback is, when you are taking care of your customer and going back and forth and solving their problems, fixing their issues, at the end of that experience, asking if the buyer will leave you seller feedback. So you can automate one and do the other one manually in your workflow, communicating with that customer.
Yeah, consider that really starting the conversation. And it is a conversation, because with a customer, just as a customer in a physical store recognizes a clerk or the owner or something like that, you can do that. You can do that with messaging, and those are really valuable communication tools, and you can do it all through Feedback Genius.
Okay, second basic rule of messaging that you want to take advantage of is use our technology to enhance the buyer experience. With Feedback Genius, you can add attachments to the message. You can just add into the content of the message. Think about what kind of value. Try to think a little bit outside of the box of what kind of value you could provide that is somewhat related to your product. So for example, if it's travel related, something like a travel checklist. If it's exercise related, some kind of fitness tip. There are a lot of options. If you feel that you have more of a boring product or something that doesn't lend itself to that, there's always care guides. So there's something that you can provide to the customer that's going to provide value about their purchase and about that product. Next, use variables and images. You can add your logo into your message. You can use variables that will dynamically pull in product names, images, order links. You can add in a stars review link that will automatically insert this image and link to the review page for that product. And so those are all ways that you can use technology to personalize that message. Here's an example of in the product how you can personalize using ASIN filters, where you can get advanced and you can create different messages for different products or different groups of products so that you can really target the message. And make your email easier to read. How do you want your email, your subject line, to appear in the buyer's inbox so that they'll be more likely to open it, as well as make it more readable inside the email? So here you have an example of where if somebody used the product name variable to insert this product name. Well, when you create your Amazon product name, you're trying to get keywords in there. You're using it for a different purpose. You're putting every important word into your title, but that doesn't look good in an inbox. Nobody wants to see something like that, and they don't feel that they want to click on that. So you can use our short name feature to add in nicknames so that it sounds much more personable, much more readable to the customer.
This was a great example also of using automation to add the human personal touch. When you do a product listing, obviously you're going for keywords, you're going super, super, super strategic, and what you're really talking to is an algorithm. You're talking to the Amazon A9 algorithm. When you send an email, you are not talking to an algorithm. You are talking to a person who has a lot of buying choices. And so you need to be concerned with how that subject line renders, especially on mobile. Now that we all use our phones for email and things like that, keep it short, keep it short. You want to keep it above the main message, above the fold, things like that. So understand the difference between speaking to an algorithm in like a product listing and optimizing for that, and speaking to a human and optimizing for that.
Great point there. Okay, and the acting faster on reviews. You can use our review tracking feature in order to monitor the reviews that are being left on your products. It's very difficult to do that through natively through Seller Central. So we will send you an email, a text message if you would like, when you receive a negative review, so that you will know that you can go and respond and act on and fix any issues.
And negative reviews, as we've talked about, can be absolute gold. They can alert you to a problem. Maybe you've got a bad batch that went out. Maybe your product just isn't holding up. It's tempting to, well, my instinct, of course, is to take it personally. No, not my product. My product is awesome. Don't take it personally, and don't make it personal. Be thankful. This person is helping you fix a problem going forward so that you can make a better product and sell more.
And we also have negative feedback notifications as well, so that you can respond to any seller feedback that needs to come to your attention, so that you can fix any problems. And finally, we have the option. You can use our repeat buyer filter to speak to buyers at the right time in their buyer journey. You can personalize messages based on if this is the first time they have purchased from you, or the second, even the third or fourth. So that's an advanced feature as well. And finally, the last basic rule of messaging we're going to go over today is that you need to go in. It's not set it and forget it anymore. We want you to go in. The message you created 2 years ago is not going to cut it, especially knowing the changes that constantly happen with Amazon, with TOS, and our app. We stay up to date with that. So we will change and update along with any new guidelines, and we will send out messages to people when these any new rules come out. But you need to go in there and take a look, and I would say at the minimum every quarter.
Yeah, keep it fresh. Keep it fresh. And again, that goes back to that golden rule of messaging. Send the email that you want to receive.
And it's hard to keep up to date with all of the changes. So we have this awesome checklist, free checklist that you can go and download to go ahead and audit your messages. It's at sellerlabs.com/TOS, and we keep that updated as well. On that page, you'll also see a replay and slides from my last webinar with Jeff, where we go in depth into TOS and what is allowed and not allowed. So you can use that to have a starting place to update your messages. Of course, as you're looking at all of these ways that you can go in and optimize and improve your messages, I'm sure many of you are thinking that that's a lot. I don't have the time to do that. Well, just to let you know, we also have a managed services team here in-house that has started to optimize messages and do message optimization and jump starts for Feedback Genius customers. So if you're interested in that, please go to our website and check that out under the Services tab.
Also, if you are a Feedback Genius user, if you're not, first of all, what's wrong with you? No, I'm just kidding. You should absolutely take a chance on it. Start your free trial. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. The other thing is, if you are a Feedback Genius user, you can schedule an appointment with our customer success team, and they will help you. And you can do that all on the website. So let's wrap this up, Cindy. These people have been indulgent with us, and I appreciate it. A couple things to always remember. I like to call this the 3 C's of reputation: consistency, care, and communication. We've talked about consistency, doing the same things, not just the same things, but the same right things over in the same ways so that every experience is a positive one and there are no strange outliers. Care, demonstrate care. Respond to your customers, do so publicly and politely and in a timely fashion. That says, I care about you. And communication. This goes into not just talking to customers respectfully, but talking to them at the right time and in the right way, and asking them the right questions and helping them with real value. The beauty of Feedback Genius is that it automates all of these things. It adds triggers, the right times, message variables that make it personal, adds all of this automation so that you can spend your time doing the human touch stuff that really, really matters, really interacting with customers, really figuring out what they want, really exploring, sourcing for the next fidget spinner, things like that. So if you can offload something and get it automated, more's the better.
Absolutely. I think that's my big takeaway here that I hope people will go away with, that about those 3 C's, and the fact that that Feedback Genius can be used to automate those things. And you can use that technology to get your personal touch, to get that first touch point in with customers so that you can then open up that relationship and that communication.
So thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving us 45 minutes of your time. I really, really appreciate it. If you have questions, please, you can find out things on our website. You can ask us. If you haven't tried Feedback Genius, do a 30-day free trial for sure. And if you do need some help with it, there's a huge knowledge base, including videos and things like that. And we have a kick rump customer success team that will just help you update your templates, things like that. We also have more webinars coming. So if you found this useful or you're interested in things, Sin, can you hit the next slide? We have upcoming webinars. Yeah. Scale your Amazon business, advertise smarter using Ignite, and that's going to take care of those gears, discovery and traffic. And then reclaim time and increase profits with expert PPC management on your side. That goes back to our expert managed services team. They will free you up to run other aspects of your business by handling your advertising, and they're super, super good at it. Shout out to PPC Ed. A lot of you know PPC Ed from the Ignite webinars and the trade show circuit.
Thank you, everyone, so much for attending. And I guess if it looks like we might have a minute for one question, if somebody has,
questions?
Yeah, if anyone has a burning question that they would like to submit.
Yeah. Looks like everyone's saying, I have a question, but bring it on. We are ready. See. Oh, recommended length of emails. Well, as the content person, I struggle with this. Recommended length. I'm going to say it, less is more. Go minimal, think above the fold, and also think about people reading this on their mobile devices. You have less space than you think. So keep it short and sharp. Those 4 gears. Oh, yeah. That is discovery, traffic, conversion, and reviews. And that image actually is in our Flywheel ebook on the website. You can download that, and we will put all sorts of resources up. We'll get this webinar replay posted by the end of the week so that you can get it, and we'll also have other resources for you to download.
I see the question about, oops, sorry, I lost it. Something about not having the ability to send one message, thank you for your order, and one later, help other customers with a review. Yes, I would recommend not doing that. I would combine it. You do have that one opportunity, and choose the one that you think is going to work for your strategy. If you want to use that first one as a thank you, and you position it somehow with an opening to open communication to where then you can follow up personally and ask for a review, you could do it that way. Or you could go ahead and just wait until after delivery and thank them and ask for the review along with some value that you're providing in that email.
Absolutely. Trying to keep up. Oh, combined strategy emails. We do offer in Feedback Genius a ton of templates, and some of those templates are what we call all-in-one templates. So if those meet your needs, you should use those. But again, I'm a big fan of focusing and targeting on asking people to do one thing and do it one thing well.
Also, the templates are a starting place, and it is something that it is on our short-term roadmap to update and continue to improve those to provide you a lot of options. But you're going to have the most success with using them as a starting point, as a suggestion for suggested wording, and then personalize it as much as you can.
We have a couple questions here about what do you do when there's a review that is against terms of service or abusive, or seller feedback is in the product review and the product review is in the seller feedback. That is not something that Feedback Genius can magically take care of for you. That is not anything that a black hat tactician or any tactician can take care of for you. You have to communicate with Amazon on that one. And again, that I always say, you know, report it, but don't retaliate. Try not to hold it against the person who posted it. They didn't really understand. You can educate them, but don't retaliate, just report.
Amazon is pretty good about if a seller puts a product review in your seller feedback. They're pretty good about responding pretty quickly and removing those. And I definitely see people kind of keeping the positive ones and, you know, reporting the negative ones. So you can kick those out pretty quickly. But that also kind of speaks to the point that buyers are often confused by the difference between feedback, seller feedback, and product reviews. So that's an opportunity there in your messaging to make it really clear if you're talking about the product or if you're talking about your customer service, and putting in the correct link there, because you don't want to have to track somebody down or chase somebody down who left you a positive review in your seller feedback and try to ask them to, you know, repost it in the product. That's going to be difficult. So use that message to help communicate that really clearly.
That's a great point too, is something in terms of service is you cannot ask a buyer to revise a review. So you want to be really, really mindful of that. Even if the experience has changed, that's not for you to do. That's considered review manipulation or incentivizing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I see this question. Would Feedback Genius be a good place to promote similar products on Amazon that the customer may like? And that is a great question. In our TOS webinar, this was actually a question on the survey that we asked sellers. And the answer is that you absolutely may not. That is against TOS to put in a link to the product that they purchased. You cannot put in, you cannot send the buyer to a product because Amazon sees that as a marketing opportunity where you might be sending them to other products. And in Amazon's mind, buyer-seller messaging is there for the purpose of helping the customer with that order. So it is against TOS to send them elsewhere or promote any other products.
All right, I think that is pretty much all the time that we have. Again, thank you for attending, and I hope to see you at the upcoming webinars. Just hit sellerlabs.com/2019 webinars, and you will not only be able to register for the 2 upcoming webinars, you will have links to past webinars, so you can catch up on all of that content. Thank you, and have a great rest of the week. Anything from you, Sin?
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate it.